Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to show you one of the best oxtail pasta dishes you'll ever have, and it's super easy to make. So I already marinated my oxtails days prior, so anytime I go food shopping I'll clean and season my meat, put them in the Ziploc bags, and then that way it's easy. I can just take it out early in the morning, it defrosts, and I'm putting it in my pressure cooker right now. If you don't know how to season your oxtails, I have my video that'll be linked in the comments where you can go look at it, and it'll explain to you how to clean your oxtails and how to season it, and then that way you can come back to this video to make this pasta dish or make the dish that I showed you in the other video. All right, so we're gonna put this in our pressure cooker for about an hour because I want them super tender, completely fall off the bone. And you're gonna put it on high. All right, so now I'm gonna check it. This has been like over an hour now. And yeah, still had a low pressure, so I had to release the pressure that was still in there. And here are the oxtails. Look at how delicious. Oh my God, it looks so good. What you didn't see me do is add about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste before I actually put the oxtails cook. And as you can see, they're at the right doneness, completely falling off the bone. Amazing, perfect. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take our oxtails out of all of this wonderful sauce that it's been cooking in. Now oxtails, they have a lot of fat in it, and so you'll see all that fat. So that's why I want to separate the oxtails from the sauce. And then you can always use the sauce for something else later on. We're not going to be using it in this dish, but you can use it later. If you let it cool off or maybe stick it in the fridge, the fat will solidify and you could just scrape the fat right off. And then you can use that sauce over some rice with some veggies. I mean, possibilities are endless, but don't throw away all that yummy goodness that's in that pot, okay? Save it for something else. You can make a stew, you can add potatoes to it, carrots, onions. Like I said, that is some really good sauce there, so don't toss it. I'm not going to toss it. I'm actually going to let it completely cool down, remove the fat from it, and that's going to solidify at the surface. And then I'm going to put it in the freezer in a Ziploc bag for another time when I want to make like some seasoned rice or something like that, then I can do that. All right, so remove all your oxtails. And so now what we're going to do, I just want to show you how tender it is. As you can see, it just, this is how cooked you want it, to where it just comes right off. And so you're going to remove all of the meat from your oxtails, okay? See how easy that is? Super easy. So we're going to speed up this process because there's no point in you watching this whole process, right? So remove all of the meat. You can use a fork to do this. You can put on gloves and use your hands if you want. Whatever it is that you need to do to take the meat off the bones, go ahead and do that. And then, look, I'm an island girl, so those bones are not going to go to waste at all whatsoever. I'm definitely going to be enjoying those by myself later on, you know. And then you can always use them in a stew, or you can add them to your greens to season your food later on. So since we're done shredding the oxtails, we're going to put some rigatoni boil. We already salted the water. The water was at a rapid boil. You just need really 1 box. I have a family of 4, and so this is actually way more than enough food. All right, so continue removing all of the meat from your oxtail bones. And see, look at all that good stuff right there. Take all the meat off. Like I said, you can use 2 hands. You don't have to just use 1, but I am actually filming. All right, in a pan, you're going to use some of your favorite pasta sauce. and you're going to get that cooking. Just checking the pasta. We want it al dente. We don't want mushy pasta. So this is literally at the right doneness. And then normally I just make it with like a ragu, but my kids really wanted something kind of cheesy. So I was like, all right, cool. Went in the fridge to find the cheese I normally put in it. Guess what? They ate it, which is fine. No big deal. I had some queso blanco, Velveeta cheese, just added to it. It still is going to taste absolutely amazing.
What are you doing? Elijah,
yeah, that's my son. He's just making a mess there. You know, he's helping out, but he's so silly. All right, so you're gonna have that cook, and you're gonna let that cheese melt. Cover it, and you're going to have your stove on medium high. You don't want it too high because it can burn, so about medium high. If you're not comfortable with the temperature, then definitely I suggest you go a little lower, so medium low. I just added 1 spoonful of that pasta water to the pan. So we strained our pasta. It's perfectly al dente, and here's the sauce, the cheese sauce, pasta sauce, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so the cheese is melting really good. We're going to stir it. Make sure to scrape the bottom to make sure that it's not burning. If you notice that it is sticking to the bottom, that means your heat is on way too high. You need to turn your heat down. So we're going to stir and mix that up really well to incorporate all of that cheese to help it melt. Okay, perfect. And you're going to cover that back up. All right. After a few minutes, it should look like this, about 5 to 10 minutes. The cheese is basically melted. It's at a low bubble. So we're going to mix that up again to incorporate the cheese with the pasta sauce. Making sure to scrape the bottom to make sure there's nothing sticking to the pan, because you don't want burnt food. And then now we're going to add our shredded oxtail meat that we took off the bone. Just giving it one last stir to make sure I'm good. All right, perfect. So now we're going to add our oxtail meat. Here's all of our oxtail meat where we remove the bones and the cartilage. And we're just going to add that to our pasta sauce. And remember, we're not adding any of the sauce from the oxtails that we cooked it in, because it's going to change the flavor of it. But we just wanted our oxtails to have really delicious flavor, super tender. And so if you're on a budget and you want to have oxtail, but let's say you have a large family, this is a great alternative to make food for your family, to where everyone can get a good amount of oxtail. They can be full, and it just tastes really, really good. So add all of your oxtail to your pasta sauce. And I like to get every little bit, because over here, oxtail is not cheap. Although I know that in some other places it is, but right here in Florida, it is expensive. So I'm trying to get all of the oxtail meat that I can into my pan. And once it's in the pan, we're going to mix that very well. Take your time, don't go too fast. And you're going to incorporate that oxtail meat into your pasta sauce. You're going to mix that really, really well, making sure to coat all of the meat with the pasta sauce. Adding the cheese is definitely something you don't have to do. Normally, I don't add cheese to this particular recipe, but the twins, they're 16. That's what they wanted. And so I was like, fine, not a big deal. I'm a mom. I make it happen. And so this is what they wanted. And so I was like, yeah, I can do it. They wanted something cheesy. They wanted oxtail, and then they wanted pasta. So here we are. You don't have to use the queso mix. Just use your favorite mild tasting cheese. If you like a strong flavor when it comes to cheese, you can use, like a sharp cheddar, but I prefer like a milder cheese for this recipe because I don't want it to overpower the oxtail that we just, had cooking in the pressure cooker for like an hour. Look at how delicious. Oh my God, it looks so good. So mix that up really well. All right, and now we are going to taste our oxtail and pasta sauce. I don't know if you would call this a ragu. I don't think so. I'm not sure. I should definitely look it up so I can title this appropriately. I'm still trying to figure out the title for this as I'm recording this video right now. So I tasted it to make sure that it has enough seasoning, and I love truffle flavor, so this is such a great brand. You're just going to add about half a tablespoon of this truffle oil, and you want to do it at the end. You don't want to do it while everything is cooking, okay? Because it's more like a finishing oil, so you don't over cook that oil and cook out the flavor of the truffle. But my kids love the flavor of truffle, and so we're adding about half a tablespoon of the truffle oil to our pasta sauce. Again, this is completely optional. This is the joy of cooking. You just make it the way you want. But if you love the flavor of truffle, trust me when I tell you, that's one of the really great inexpensive brands that you can find. It has such a great truffle flavor. There's even truffle pieces in the oil itself. It's not expensive at all. And you're going to love it. So we're going to take our drained pasta and we're going to plate our food. So this is 1 box of pasta. This meal can easily feed about 8 people. And they will be extremely full, especially if you have like a side of veggies, like a nice salad, a very nice simple chef salad with, like iceberg lettuce or romaine lettuce with some juicy cherry tomatoes, little onions if you want, or you can do like a nice roasted vegetable, or you can do some asparagus. You can definitely feed 8 to 10 people with this recipe easily. And so we're just spooning all that golden, yummy, cheesy oxtail goodness onto the plate. Look at how delicious that looks. I wish you could smell how amazing this is. Sprinkle a little parsley, to give that little je ne sais quoi, whatever. Make it look pretty. This is the parsley is really for you guys, because I wouldn't normally put parsley on it, just for get like the perfect little picture for the YouTube page. But enjoy. Let me know in the comments and follow and like.